Hello, this is In the Crease, and I'm your host, Karl Moeglein, with the post-game coverage of what was an incredible finish in Game 6 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Chicago Blackhawks ending up being Stanley Cup champs and champions of the NHL with a thrilling 3-2 victory over the Boston Bruins, down 2-1 with very little time to play. I believe it was 1:17 to play or so. Outstanding. 1:16, excuse me. The goal was scored by Brian Bickle. He came in and they beat Tuukka Rask, and it looked 1:16 left. Looks like it was all going to go to overtime. Then, with just 17 seconds left, with 59 seconds left in the game, Dave Bolland took a shot from Michael Frolic that went off the post and bounced back. Dave Bolland working hard to put that puck in, beating them. And I'd like one thing that shows about hockey: if that puck originally shot by Frolic had gone an inch to the left, this game would have gone to overtime. It probably would have still been playing. If that puck had gone an inch to the left, if it gone an inch to the right, Frolic is the hero. So it shows how hockey really is a game of inches, and I think this shows why hockey is the greatest game in the world. It is the most exciting game in the world because this is the Stanley Cup playoffs, and there is nothing that can come close to comparing to the excitement that can come from watching this game. This is a finish that seems to only be able to come from hockey. When a game that that only comes in one goal increments, no 3-pointers, no buzzer beaters, like in basketball, there's something about hockey that makes this game so much more electric than any other sport. Of course, in this game, Jonathan Toews was a huge factor. Can't come off injury. Some people didn't know if he was going to play. He didn't play the last part of Game 5. Comes in, and he is the captain of this team. Apologies to Toews, because I had called Kane the captain last podcast and a couple ones before that as well. But Toews is the captain of this team. He comes back first in the second period. He tied it up with a hard-working play on a bad play by Zdeno Chara. Zdeno Chara did not have a good series defensively. He actually did save a goal earlier, but that play, he tried to basically off a face-off. The puck went to the boards, and Chara came up to pinch on and try to get to it. And basically, Toews just beat him. Toews beat him to it. Toews took the puck. Toews went up ice, and he had such a fast shot. He beat Tuukka Rask down into his butterfly, and that's incredibly hard because a goalie normally is able to butterfly extremely fast. I should know I am one. Basically, yeah. And then going on to the Conn Smythe Trophy. The Conn Smythe Trophy is the trophy awarded to the most valuable player. And as I suspected, if it was Chicago, Patrick Kane hoisted the cup. And interesting thing about Conn Smythe voting. Conn Smythe voting is due 10 minutes left in the third period, which means that was all before the ending part. Patrick Kane would have been the MVP even if the Hawks had lost in Game 7. So this is something interesting to think about. But Patrick Kane had an outstanding series, of course, he is a great hockey player. He had the game winner back when they won it the first time. And this time, although he didn't have any points in this final game, he was extremely hardworking. And, of course, his previous games really showed why he was the MVP. I mean, he had having such a great series previous to this. Of course, in the Game 5, he had a great, outstanding game, really. I mean, with his game, he had a goal and an assist, similar to Toews today. And then, yeah. But Patrice Bergeron coming back wasn't quite as helpful as it could have been. It was shaky. But Patrice Bergeron came back and he made a simple impact. He made the impact that was not crazy great. It was there. What Jonathan Toews did was he came back and he was fighting so hard, even when the Bruins kept coming at him again and again, that he was relentless. And I gotta tip my hat to Jonathan Toews for the game he played. Even with the Bruins got 37 hits on the Blackhawks. I would guess 10 of those were on Jonathan Toews. It was incredible how many they were putting on him. And it just shows how tough Jonathan Toews is, and, more and more of that. Oh, and, stat correction, Patrick Kane had 2 goals in that Game 5, no assists. But going back to this last game, just a ruthless game, and a heartbreaking way for this Boston team to lose. This Boston team had seemed all playoffs and everything since the sad day when the bombing happened on the Boston Marathon. This team seemed unstoppable, having the incredible win versus the Maple Leafs in the round 1, coming back there, and it's a hard way for them to lose, especially losing like this. And they finally had a game where they didn't give too many pucks away, and they finally played a pretty good game. They scored on the power, but that last 2 minutes, the last minute 17, will go down as a terrible minute 17 in Bruins history. A kind of a worst case scenario for the Bruins. They looked in that minute 17. The net was pulled for Chicago. They were expecting, probably most of the players were expecting to go back. They weren't expecting to score. When you pull your goalie, especially in this situation, you're just going out there. You're not expecting to score. You're trying to get the best shot you can on net, because these are great goaltenders. It's very hard. This game, they did that, and the Bruins were so down, they just came back, right back, and struck them for the kill shot. And the Blackhawks played a terrible first period and came back and won this game, which, I'm honestly quite surprised by. But it was an interesting game. It was a hard-fought game, and I don't think we're gonna forget this one very soon. That last 2 minutes are going to be some of the most iconic in hockey history, I bet. I mean, 2 goals that close together, Stanley Cup Finals for the Stanley Cup. Blackhawks fans will never forget that. When they play montages before games there, it's going to show Brian Bickle scoring, then it's going to show David Bolin scoring. It's going to show them lifting the cup, and it's going to show Patrick Kane, because he is the best player on this team. He was the best player all playoffs long, and it's a great series. It's a hard way to lose for the Bruins, as I said, and yeah, it's going to be interesting. Of course, for the Bruins, they had Milan Lucic played an outstanding game, hard hitting, put them ahead with only 8 minutes left. It looks like that was good. Good game from Chris Kelly as well. He had a goal early on, and they looked in control of this game almost all the way through. It looked like the Bruins had this. Looking back onto the first period, that first period the Bruins had 12 shots, and the Blackhawks only had 6. But after that, the Bruins only had 6 shots the next period, 7 the one after that. Blackhawks ended up getting 31 shots off. It's a very terrible, terrible way for them to lose this, but it's a great game, absolutely memorable, and Chicago Blackhawks are the champions of the NHL. All right, before I go, I'm just gonna go through the social media stuff at Karl_PM. That's the Twitter. In the Crease with Karl Moeglein. That's on Facebook. Please look it up, and following that, when you like that, you're going to know when all my shows are coming up, especially because in the off-season, they're going to be a little less frequent. At National Sports 1, follow us on Twitter. That'll bring you show updates. SuddenImpact14.wix.com/National Sports. That's the website for National Sports. Facebook.com/Online Sports Radio. Yeah, just don't forget In the Crease with Karl Moeglein. Best way to find updates on all of this stuff on this for using, because I will probably be back when free agency opens. I will probably be doing a show then, but hard to say going into the summer. Not exactly hockey weather. But till next time, I am Karl Moeglein. This is In the Crease, and the Chicago Blackhawks are the champions of the NHL in the 2013 season. Thank you.